This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
It is our reluctance to change that keeps us struggling against the flow of transforming energy that is constantly descending upon us from the higher realms of light. We think we are brave because we are fighting for our life, when in fact, it takes courage to let go and trust the infinite love and light of the divine to provide for us. We show bravery when we renounce self-gratification and surrender to divine will, aligning our life to the divine universal plan for all life. True heroes are those who are not afraid to know themselves. For the battles they must fight in order to reach their victory are fierce. However, no hardship equals the intensity of the reward, because it is in knowing ourselves that we come to know God. When we enter the presence of God, when we stand with the stillness of His being, when our heart beats to the rhythm of His heart, we know that we are everything and nothing. We know that we are energy and light. We know that we are consciousness. And we know that we are love. The only way we can change our world is by changing ourselves. There is no other way. Change your consciousness and your life will change. Change your consciousness and the world around you will change. Change your consciousness and the whole world will change. Valeria interviews Jocelyn Renucci. She is the author of From Childhood to Christhood, A Journey into Universal Divine Consciousness. Born in Paris, Renucci set out on her own while she was still in her teens. Her work and travels took her to New York City and Mexico, and finally to Sag Harbor, New York, where she found her home and herself. A successful businesswoman, she is presently at work on her second book, which will show her readers how she has put the lessons she has learned into practical use in everyday life and how they can too. Meet Jocelyn at jrenucci.com. Here's the interview with Jocelyn Renucci.
In your own words, who is Jocelyn Renucci as of this moment?
Well, Valeria, I don't know about who I am, but what I can tell you is what I am.
Right.
Because right now, at this moment, I am in quietude and I am poised, because I want to be in contrast of what is happening a little bit all over the world, where there is a lot of friction, a lot of violence, and a lot of suffering. And so there is not much I can do, for all of that. But what I can do is keep myself and my life as peaceful as possible to emanate that energy as much as I can. So that's really what I am these days.
Wow.
I don't know if I am answering your question the way you want, but, that's what I feel right now.
Yes, I love that. This is something that I often say too, even here on the podcast, that I don't know who I am, but I do know what I am. Yes, pure consciousness. And then I love the way you say that. So peace, it's almost like embodying this idea, this concept of peace, becoming peace itself. That sounds wonderful. And is this something that, from your perspective, Jocelyn, does it take practice, daily practice? or it's something that is already established in a way for you?
Well, for me, it is a little bit established because, as you know from previous discussion and from the book I wrote, I work a lot on myself.
Right.
Because I was not that peaceful being, when I was young and all of that. So I did go through a transformation. And so now I am able to reach that space in me, and where I maintain that peace within my heart, and so yeah, it comes with practice for me. So some other people it might be easier, but for me it came with practice.
Yes. And you mentioned transformation. So you went through a transformation phase so that it's easier that way to reestablish or establish some sort of powerful concepts like love, peace, kindness. I really feel like it becomes much easier that way when we have shifted already in the past, have done the work. So with that in mind, you mentioned your book. So for those who don't know you listening to this, talk to me about the book, From Childhood to Christhood, A Journey into Universal Divine Consciousness. So what the intention to write the book and a little bit of the content, the story in that.
Well, the book is about my journey, my transformation. I was born from a mother that was a malignant narcissist. So she really treated me in a way that stripped me from any kind of self-awareness or self-worth. She belittled me, she did all those things to me, which made me a very wounded human being. And so I was constantly reacting to the program that I received from my mother, because when I was young, I had no father, so she was really the main being in my life. And so honestly, I did not know my right from my left, and I was suffering a lot. And so I enter into that journey of self-transformation in order to alleviate the suffering. So, is what I say. I had a very human reason to take on that journey. But as I start that journey of understanding and self-awareness, then it took a spiritual level too. So it's like two journey at one that brought me to that place where I basically completely transformed myself. So, and find peace and find joy and I actually became a different person. I mean, not from the outer, some people might not even notice it, but I can tell you that I am a complete different person. So I got to know myself and stop myself from reacting to the program that I had received. So I became self-aware, and then little by little I changed and I evolved. So I wrote the book because as I was doing that journey, I received help knowledge from books that I read and things like that. And many times those books were written by a philosopher or a spiritual leader, or a doctor of sort. But I really wanted to say that this is what I did, and I am a person who had none of that knowledge. I acquire it. I am self-taught. And I really did not have any special gift or anything, just the desire to change, the desire to understand, and the desire not to suffer. Because, I suffer a lot.
Right.
And I did it. So I wanted to share in the book that if I did it, you can do it, because it's really a journey you can take. You have the choice, and you can take that journey. You can take just do a little bit of the journey, or you can do a lot of the journey, but you can definitely start the journey. And so I wanted to explain that, and I wanted to explain the tool I use and what I learned along the way in a simple manner, like if I spoke to you, because many times, sometimes those books, they're a bit complicated.
Right.
So I wanted to write that very simply, like if I'm talking to you, for everybody to understand. That, it might not resonate for everybody, or they might read the book 2 or 3 times and find different little message depending on what they are ready to accept. But the way it's written, in my opinion, it's simple. And so that was really why I wrote the book.
Yes. I love the
That's
courage.
my dog. I'm
yes.
sorry.
Oh, I hear it's okay. He has something to say. That's cute.
She's got something to say.
Yeah. That's cute. So yes, gosh, Rosalind, I can very much relate to it, to your story, of course, and I'm sure lots of people can. So trauma and then healing ourselves. And I love what you said about the desire not to suffer. So that was your guide, something that was compelling you, right, into that journey. How beautiful, right? There's nothing better than that.
Exactly.
So to know more about your story, it's a beautiful book, though. It's on Amazon, so I'll have the link here on this podcast at the end of the podcast notes. So I guess going back to something that you said, now I made a note here. Yes, about your mother, because I have had the same experience, similar experience, I would say, I heard something before recently. Somebody said, it's not what's wrong with us or with what's wrong, let's say, with your mother or my mother, but what happened to them. So that's really a good question to ask. And I remember being for so long suffering also beyond measure, trying to understand my mother and why she had done the horrible things she did. But then when that question came to me, this new perspective, it's not what's wrong with them, but what happened to them that we need to focus on. Have you reflected on this question before?
Well, yeah, we talked a little bit about that last time. Of course, I reflected and I had different answer to my question
Yes.
at different time. And but it's what I told you last time, exactly why we are born in circumstances like that, and why they are born in their circumstances that brought that to them, etc. It's up for grab. The and so we don't know for sure, but that's just that's what we were born. Now, the important thing, I think, is not to accept the suffering from, in that case, from our mother.
Right.
Because whatever my mother's circumstances was, she imposed it on me.
Yes.
Yes. So she had her own journey to do. And for some reason, maybe she was not able to do it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But, is what I told you last time. I think what's important is what we do with it, and also that we're able to forgive them. That doesn't mean accepting what they did to us or are still doing to us, but to somewhere forgive them because, they have their own journey. Now, what's important, I think, when you are in such circumstances is to stop the pattern. Because I will tell you that if I had not gone through my own journey, which was very hard,
Yes.
I would have been abusive in my ways,
Right.
maybe
Right.
not in the same way my mother abused me, but in some other manner,
Yeah.
I would have perpetuated
Mm.
the what's the word I'm looking for? I would have the abuse or whatever.
Yeah, the pain, right.
The pain, the suffering.
Yes.
So I made a very clear choice not to do that, So, and is what I said to you last time. I think by freeing myself of that pattern, I also freed my mother, I hope. And also, I forgot what I was, the forgiveness. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, forgiveness is a
that's
big one.
And also, I remember we talk about that. It's like sometimes you go through that, and that allow you to grow more spiritually because you have to fight against that wave, And so sometimes it's just a very tough learning curve, I don't know exactly, but it is not easy. But you can find your way out of it. You can.
Yes. See, that's a beautiful message too for all of us to be reminded of, that we can do something about it. As long as we keep that in mind, right, Jocelyn, that we have the power within to change.
That's it. You have the power within. But again, I understand some people not want to do it because it's hard, but you have the power. That's important to remember.
Yes. That's interesting that you said that some of us, speaking from a spiritual perspective, we come here and we forget. And then we just kind of, as you said about your mother, we just kind of give up and completing the contract or doing the things that we're supposed to do in order to grow. But that's what we think. That's like rationalizing, right, Jocelyn? This whole thing. We don't know for sure if that's how it works. I don't know. I keep seeing everything as, the universal love that you speak of. There's something about that I think about freedom, just letting things be. So everything that is happening right now, it's actually exercising freedom of consciousness because, as you said, is that part in the book? I was not sure. The importance of self-awareness. Is that a chapter in your book or a section in your book?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, thank you for clarifying that. I forgot to ask. So you said good and bad, light and darkness all exist together. So all this is happening within consciousness. So as you said, clearly, we do have the choice to go into the energies of love or hate. So there's always like this opportunity for choosing. It really feels that way to me as well. But sometimes you see some people, it feels to them that they have no choice. Like I felt that way before too. When I was mired in suffering and living in the past, I could not see the options.
Yes, well, I felt that too. I understand. It's not easy. That's why you have to start small.
Right.
Don't look at the big picture. You have to start small. First, you need to have a little bit of awareness, a little bit. We say that we are one. Okay, that all human beings are linked. That we are like we come from the same energy, split in multitude of representation, but that we are basically one. And that, we really are, we're not being of matter, even though we are matter, but we really are being of consciousness and energy and all of that. Yeah. So if you start from there, you have to realize that all you do all day is like spreading energy, right? Consciousness, and that everything you do obviously is going to have an effect in the mass consciousness, in the mass energy, because if you believe that we are all connected, okay, that's all we are. So every moment, every second of your life, you are projecting the energy that comes from within you. Okay, so first, if you want, and a lot of a spiritual seeker, they embrace this knowledge or this ideal that we are energy and all of that. Okay, so if you are a spiritual seeker, most likely you embrace the idea of oneness, the idea of energy and all of that. Okay, so that's one thing. So then that energy that you send out every moment, with every word, every thought, every movement that you make, generate energy that reach the mass energy. So everything you do has an effect. Okay, so that on a spiritual awareness is already to take responsibility for what you do, what you say, what you think. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yes, that sounds like a lot.
That's big.
Yes,
Okay.
tall order.
So you cannot think that big at first. So
Yeah.
you have to start small and start looking at yourself, and with that realization, try to pay attention already of the energy you bring out every day in the little moment of everyday life. And then if you start doing that, you're going to realize how many times, even unknowingly, you have actually sent a disturbing energy, right? And so that energy, like they also say, you are where your attention is, right? So all of that together is creating the mass consciousness that is feeding the earth right now, and there is, well, the earth always had, violence and all of that. Now it's a little bit more obvious because, first of all, we know everything that's happening everywhere. And also because personally, I had hope that by now we have a change, that we be in a better position, but apparently not. But what I meant to say is that at some level, we're not responsible, but we are part of what is happening everywhere, whether we like it or not. And so the only way we can change that is by changing ourselves and by being conscious of the energy that we send out every moment of our life. And so that is difficult, but and so then once you start an awareness, you can stop yourself, you can start like changing yourself little by little, and little by little you're going to change the energy that you are expanding at every moment.
Right.
Did I make any sense to you?
Oh, yes. A lot of sense.
So
yes.
That's what is important.
Yes.
And that's what I hope, in that new year, that some people are going, instead of looking outside, look at yourself, because everything that's happening to you is a projection of who you are. So when you only live according to the program that you receive, you are perpetuating the same negative energy. And if you don't stop, it's not going to stop. And it's okay. It's going to be your life. And maybe next life is going to be the same, because you're going to come back at that level of energy. So you want to change that. And so are you responsible for the war in Gaza? No. But you are, through the mass consciousness, you are part of everything that's happening everywhere. But, the only way that can shift is by starting to be self aware of your behavior and what energy you're putting out. And that's very tricky, because the energy, it's more that, oh, I am a very good person.
Yes.
I'm good. Well, are you really?
Yes, look deeper.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What are your intent behind everything? What are your
Yes.
intent? So it's a process. It's a process, but I think that's the only thing that is important for us to do on earth, is to start that process. And then the more you go into it, the more the veil of forgetfulness, sorry, is what you were talking before, but we forget. Well, little by little, the veil falls off. The veil open and open and open, and you start understanding who you are and what you are, and then you start all the spiritual journey and all of that. So it's a long journey, but it's for me it's the only way. But you don't have to start there. You can start in your day-to-day. When the last time you made somebody feel good just because you walk the street and you just smile at somebody, that little things like that. Become aware of the others and become aware how you or your energy, the effect it has on the other. So, what is your behavior? How is your behavior? You do something. What really was the intent behind what you did? Things like that. That, in my opinion, what is important and important to change. So open your eye to the other, because people is what I said, they walk the earth, their head up their belly button.
Yes.
They don't pay attention.
Yes.
And even if you are a spiritual seeker, I've been in places with beautiful people that are very spiritual and all of that. And then they don't pay attention to what's happening next to them. So be aware of the other, and then also be aware of yourself. Give of yourself, expand of yourself. It's very important, but start little. I was thinking today of an example. Several years ago, I was going to a spiritual gathering, of a lot of beautiful people, spiritual seekers, etc. So there was a meditation or a class, in what they used to call the church. It was not a church, but whatever. And that room was carpeted, carpet everywhere. And one of the participants, she was in a wheelchair. And she was a little bit on the heavy side, so she could roll her chair to her place, but it was difficult for her. And I was looking the first time, and nobody helped her. So it was my first time. I did not dare do too much, But then the second time, it's like nobody helped her. So, it's like those people, they were good, they wanted to understand, they had questions, they were spiritual, yet they could not, for one moment, look at this lady that needed help to roll to the place she was going inside the church. So, so of course I went to her and I said, do you want help? And she was so happy, because of course she wanted help. So that's what I mean. Little things like that. Start with that in your day-to-day life. Look at the other. What can you do? But that comes from the heart, not I'm going to do that, so I'm going to look, like I'm such a great being. No.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, that could happen too. Yes.
That's no good.
Yes.
Always is what I say. The intent. What is your intent? So it's very complex, Valeria. It's very complex. And I wish I was a better speaker, to really explain well. I think in the book, I'm trying very hard to send that message. And, as I know it's not the message most people want to hear, because most people, they want immediate it's like
gratification, yeah, results, yeah,
gratification, but
right.
it does not work that way. Is what we it doesn't work that way. You have to do it. You have to do the work, and you have nobody, it's like I hear now, oh, now, you put a tape at night that's going to tell you that all the things you want to be, and in the morning you are saved. No.
Yes,
No,
no,
it's not true.
yeah, no.
It might help. It might help. It might be a tool, but it is not. You still need to do the work. But start small. Start small. For instance, me when I was young, because of who I was, I mean, you could get on my nerve very easily. Everybody got on my nerve.
Yes,
It
right.
was
Trauma
like,
response triggered, yeah. Triggered.
everything trigger,
Oh, yeah.
push all my button. Oh my God, I had so many emotions. And so, at first, like if if you recognize, oh my God, I get very angry, or I get this, or I get that, it's okay. You're not perfect, but then, start become aware of it. And so the next time when you want to react like that, stop yourself from reacting. So then, that, because when you are angry and you react angrily, you disturb the energy of the person that you are angry at, and there you are again expanding a lot of negative energy. So just by the act, the self-awareness, say, well, I am an angry person, and becoming aware and stopping yourself from reacting, and act instead of react, you know, little by little, the anger is going to go away, but only from the self-awareness. That's why I'm saying self-awareness is so important.
Yes, it is crucial. And you're very clear, Jocelyn, very clear about your message, about your own experience. You're a very good speaker when it comes to that. So I have to tell you this.
Thank you.
It's coming across to me very clearly. And of course, I have done a lot of the work myself, so I'm familiar with the language, but in the message. But yes, your perspective is just that it's something that we need to be reminded of. It feels that way. And as I said to you off record, I'm always kind of listening to people so I can see the confirmation that you spoke of, the signs, just to make sure that I'm not living in my own bubble, my own kind of ideas here. But yeah, it's embodying what we wanted to see out there. It's being what we say we are. You're right. It's not easy because we believe we are the body only. And then that already creates lots of obstacles and blockages. If we believe we are only the body, then we live in fear. I really see that as the fundamental problem for all the issues we have.
Well, yeah, but even people, let's say that do not go into a more spiritual route, okay, because they're not prepared or they're not ready. They can still become a better human being.
Yes, they could.
You know what I'm saying? Let's start there.
Yes. Yes.
And so if you want peace, instead of justifying war or fighting about this one is right and this one is not right and blah blah blah, just go in peace and imagine the wherever there is I remember at the beginning of the war in Ukraine, I was imagining all the soldiers to sit down, they just sat down in my imagination, and you say, well, that's stupid, that's silly, Jocelyn, what do you mean? Well, I mean, because imagine peace. Like people say, well, no, I'm not going to go to war. I'm just going to sit down. What they're going to do if all the soldiers sit down? So, of course, people say, oh, that's ridiculous. It's a fantasy. It will never happen. Why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
So, why don't you shift your attention a little bit?
Yes.
And instead of justifying yourself or justifying the action of others, first of all, question, yourself,
Yes.
and you can question others too. And then, shift it, change it, see peace, see a peaceful world, instead of trying to convince who is right and who is wrong,
right,
is not working. It's like,
No.
Dr. Phil on TV, he always used to say, well, is that working for you? Well,
Yes.
obviously not. Obviously
Yes.
not. So
Yeah.
if as a people, as human being, more and more and more of us just shift a little bit. We don't ask you to change the world. Just shift a little bit your attention, shift your consciousness. When something happens or when you do something, don't justify it. Look at it for what it is and accept it for what it is and from there, change it, move it. It's going to change, but if we keep doing the same thing, there is no changing ahead. I'm telling you that. No changing, and it might not be good, but we have the power, each of us, to do it. Look at yourself, put the mirror and look at what you do and what you say, what are your intentions behind everything, and start very little to shift your consciousness, to shift your attention. And understand that you are a part of everything that is happening. And as much as you are a part of it, you can change it. You can change it.
Yes. Yes. A billion times of that truth. Yes. There's something you say in your book under the importance of self-awareness. You say beautifully, we think we are brave because we are fighting for our life, when in fact it takes courage to let go and trust the infinite love and light of the divine to provide for us. So here you actually take, your message is more of surrender, of being guided, listening to our own hearts, right?
Because it's part of the journey, It is like there is phases to the journey, right? And one of the phase is to stop to think you are so important.
Yeah.
Because you might be a powerful spiritual being, but you're not that important. Not everything revolved around you. So already you have to kind of think of that. And then, one of the struggle is that to let go, to let life take care of you, as opposed to you running after life like, the hamster in his cage, running round, and trust it, but that's like the fight with the ego. And depending where you are in the world or where you are in your development, it can be a very big fight. So that's a part of the journey. There are many, many, many parts of the journey, but that is one, because the ego thinks he's so important.
Yes.
And to say, well, you're important, but not the way you think you are.
Yes.
It's hard to take,
Yes.
But that's not the beginning of the journey. That's part of it, because when you are ready to go through that, to release your full sense of control, your full sense of power, of importance, that's already, it's a big step. It's a big step. And then, then you find the simplicity. But the simplicity is full of riches. It's all the opposite.
Right. Yeah.
So remember the simplicity we talked at the beginning, or maybe not, I forgot. But anyway, that's where the simplicity is. When you release your will, you let you know, you embrace that you are part of the universe. So it's not all about you, yet you are very important. So it's always a balance, you know?
Wow. Yes, Jocelyn. Wow. Wisely said. Yes. You see, that really resonates with me. True. In this moment, especially. Yeah. This idea of simplicity. And you said there's a lot of riches in there because you feel like you're part of the something much bigger.
Yeah, everything everything you need is there, you know. But like, remember, whatever happened to you is about you. You know, we think it's about the other. Like, you know, I remember when I was, oh, this one did that to me, did that, you know. But it's always about you because it's what you project. So it's very difficult to accept because, like, I remember the first time I heard of that, I'm like, my God, that's not true. I'm not.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
But when you dig a little bit deeper, you're going to understand. So, but what we do, you know, we always justify our action, and that keeps you prisoner. You know, open your eyes to your action and don't justify them. Understand them, accept them, change them, but don't justify them. And remember, everything is about you. It's never about the other. The other is only there to show you something that is with you. It's always about that. That's why, you know, you may notice that when you walk into the past and you start changing, you may lose a lot of people. A lot of people are going to disappear because they are in another consciousness. Their role in your life is not needed anymore. So, you know, you change and you go in a different consciousness, different people. It's like, you know, there are many different worlds all here, but you are in your world and I am in my world. And sometimes we get together, but you live in the world of your own consciousness. So then those people will vanish. And you will vanish too in their life because whatever you were bringing to them, they don't need anymore. So it's like fluid. It's fluid. You know, it's like, say, how are you today? Oh, in my world,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Everything in my world is really good. You know,
yes.
and because it's a consciousness, so you are always going to be surrounded by the vibration that you bring out. So, you know, it's easy, yet it's complicated, but in reality it's simple. Life is simple. We make it very complicated, but it's simple. All those wars, all those conflicts, they can stop any moment. They're not stopping because we are not letting it stop, but we can stop it like that. You know, like if enough people bring peace in their heart and visualize, because imagine, you know, like your power of the mind, the imagination is humongous. If enough people will do that, I'm telling you, maybe all the soldiers will just sit down and say, what are we doing? You know, it's possible. You know, think that it's possible, not naive and you know, like, no, make it true. You can make your own you know, painting, paint a better world.
I love that. Yes,
this morning on Facebook,
yes,
somebody sent me a picture of, you know, Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince by Saint-Exupéry, which is one of my favorite book. It's a very profound book, beautiful book. And so the Petit Prince says, I don't know, he's, you know, when he's going to all these planets, and he says, oh, can you paint me a different and a better world, something like that. I forgot the detail, but yes, we can do that. You know, it's simple. We can do that. If you never read The Little Prince, read it. It's full of this the shine light in you that can create all of that. It is what it is. So stop thinking that you are so important. Look at the other, look at yourself, be true to yourself, be true to the other, and be aware of what little energy you bring out every moment of your life, every moment. Because the moment you aggravate somebody's spirit, you sending, it's like a short, electrical short, and it's no good, because some people are going to be recipient to that, and and then it builds up. Anyway, that's what I think.
Wow. Gosh. I mean, it really, yeah, that really, I mean, it's true. What can I say?
And I am at this phase of my life that, okay, I'm telling you that's what I think. And, you take what's good for you and you leave what's not good for you. But that's what I think. And I want to keep thinking that we do have the power to change, to make the better world, but just do the work. Because, those are the true heroes, the people that do the work within themselves, and I'm telling you, as you start that, the veil of forgetfulness is open, little by little, the veil open, and it reveals itself, and it reveals yourself to yourself. It's a beautiful thing. And that doesn't mean that your life is perfect, that nothing goes wrong in your life. No, but it's just the way you're going to deal with everything that come your way, and I mean, I think as long as we are on Earth, we are learning. We are learning.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
What an amazing, beautiful, insightful message for 2024 and beyond. I always say that. And every time I hear something amazing, I always say that, okay, we have this, place in time, 2024, but I always think about, just keep doing the work, never stop. Let's just keep thinking that way, changing. And you're right. Like you said beautifully, I highlighted here too. You say, it is in knowing ourselves that we come to know God. I mean, that says it all too. Your message is very clear. It's very clear.
You get to know God because you are a particle of God, so you get to know yourself. You get to that place within you. And so, when you get to that place, you receive a lot of realization, and so it's beautiful, because it's not that you're not a God like people think of God, like, but you are part of that beautiful energy, except that you buried it. It's buried, and it can't breathe, it can come out. But when you start changing, it starts to come out, the veil open, and it starts to come out. And then at some moment you can have that, you have that feeling of that true realization. That doesn't mean that you live in the cloud all the time, no, but you have that understanding. But that should not be the goal. That's just an end result. The goal is for you to know yourself, become the best human being you can be at any moment of your life, to find your authentic self. That is the goal. It's like, you do a business. Of course, you want to make money, but it should not be the goal. The goal should be to do well what you're doing, and then the end result is that the money is going to flow to you. So you have to be careful. What is your goal? So I think the goal is to be a better person, to be aware of the energy that you expend at every moment of your life. Well, you cannot be, there are times, and we say, oh my God, what did I do? Why did I say that? But that's okay, because you realize, and then, you can, either if you, let's say you hurt somebody, you can say, listen, I'm sorry, I did not mean that. It's important. It's important to do all those little things. You know, all those little things are what matter, because life is made of all the little things. What did you do today to make somebody feel better? Sometimes it's just a smile or a text. How are you doing today? Good. You know, little thing. But be careful, and be careful what you think, because sometimes, you know, people, they can act so nice and all of that, but what's in their mind really?
Right. Right.
And what's in
Yes.
your mind also
Yes.
release energy. So
Yes.
you know, it's complex. It's
Yes.
complex, you know.
Yes.
And but I think if people start to look at the other, and be a little bit, you know, more aware of the energy they bring forth, I think that's already, you know, if many of us just start like that, that's a shift in consciousness, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Yes. I love that, Jocelyn. Yeah. I mean, you're just so in tune, in alignment with your own heart, with your own truth and the essence of God, that everything you say is just resonates. So it resonates with me, because that's my journey too, to wake up, to keep waking up and stay awakened. And it's not that easy, as you said, because it's a practice and we need to be aware at every moment, and that sometimes, you know, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but that's okay. You know, of course, you know, but if you are aware of it, it's okay, because the intent is important.
Yes, yes,
You know,
yes, yes.
so like,
Yeah.
there are times also I get aggravated. For instance, you know, one of my things is when I drive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, I
people
see
get
that.
on my nerve. You have no idea.
Yes, I noticed that with
This
people.
one drive too slow. This one did not put his signal. This one did
Yeah.
not stop at the stop sign. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you know. But it's just a moment. I don't dwell on it. You know, it's just like a reaction that I still cannot control. You know,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I don't dwell on it. I just blah, 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 and then okay, you know, moving on. But the thing is, that's what beware of where your attention is, because before I would have gone on and on and on and on and on and on and on, you know, because I would have put my attention into that and then build it up to that big mountain of nothing, and but just negative energy, you know. So that's what I mean by awareness. That doesn't mean you're perfect, you know. I don't think, but being self-aware is very, very important.
Yes, it is. It starts there. I agree. Of course, it's coming from belief systems. So once we shed a light in our beliefs, what we believe in, one of the things that get me going is like with my husband, when he, you know, he behaves in a way that of being a body, that's all it is for him, is being the body and the mind. So that gets me a little bit, not triggered, not irritated or anything like that, but it gets the energy field a little bit. Yeah.
That's your lesson. Acceptance.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yes.
that's what I mean. Whatever
yeah.
we think somebody is doing that aggravate us, it's really us. It's our lesson. That's because, you know, everybody is different. So that's aggravates you because whatever, but you know, you have to accept him for what he is. And then maybe when you do that, you don't feel the aggravation anymore. That's what it is. Or maybe it changed.
Yeah. Hopefully. I'll keep work on that energetically.
You know? Exactly.
Yes.
So, you know, and so because why is he your husband? Why did you marry him? What's the intent? All of that, you are the only one that can answer that, you know. But remember, for him to be only in the mind body space, that's not that's not what's important. Is your reaction to that you need to look at.
Yes, it always goes back to us, right?
Always.
Wow, what a fantastic way of experiencing this. More aware that everything has to do with the way we respond, to reality, to what's happening. That's a beautiful reminder for all of us. Thank you so much, Jocelyn, again, for this amazing conversation, for being wise and deep and fun at the same time. So the last part of the passage in your book it says the only way we can change our world is by changing ourselves. That's like you begin the phrase like that. So that's the message that you've been on and on here repeating in different ways, in beautiful ways, kind of illustrating the same message. We need to go within. We need to change ourselves, look within, be self-aware. Yes, 1 billion times this truth. Is there anything that you left unsaid, Jocelyn? Anything else you wanted to leave the audience, me and the audience with?
Well, I'm sure plenty.
Yes.
But,
yes.
I think for today, I think for today we said a lot, and I hope, as I say, that if it's only a little seed of awareness that some people take in and start to look at themselves and their life in a different way, I'll be very happy and because really that's my message. And I realize that that's not really what people want to hear. I understand because, of the immediate gratification but that's my most sincere message to everyone. And as I say, I did it. I'm not talking out of a book or anything. I'm talking from personal experience. I was this person that was miserable, that was sometimes not even nice because I did not know better. And if I came back from that, everybody can, not everybody, but you can come back to whatever. Just be honest with yourself. Just be honest and start looking at the other and start there. Start little, and really that will make you a better life, a better person, and that will transform the world eventually, not overnight. And actually, when I say not overnight, of course, it's not going to happen all overnight, but it could, because that's the power of the heart. That's the power of the divine power that is within us. So go and find that power.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much again for doing this, for being willing to come here and have a conversation about this and have this message, just passing this knowledge, this divine knowledge on. So I thank you for that, Jocelyn, for being open.
I thank you for giving me the mean to do it, because I will say to you, this is very important message for me. This at this stage of my life, in this lifetime, that's what I care for. Yes. That's all I care about. And so I thank you too for giving me this opportunity,
How beautiful. Yes, I can hear the heart speaking. Divine wisdom. Yeah, thank you. So your website is jrenucci.com. So I'll have the link on the podcast notes as well. Thank you again for your presence, for your beautiful, I have to say, spiritual knowledge, and for everything that you've been doing with me and passing on to others. Thank you so much again, Jocelyn. We'll talk soon. Yes. Happy New Year for sure. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Jocelyn Renucci and her work, please visit jrenucci.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.